The excitement was palpable. I still kind of get chills thinking about how exciting that was, that we were really going to see the end of this, and this was the path to get there.
It was just joy. We had people cry when they got their vaccine, thank us profusely that we were doing this.
The community was excited. The healthcare workers that came down to help give those vaccines, they were excited. Everyone was eager. It was a thrilling time to be part of that and to see that.
We witnessed vaccine hesitancy, just nerves, needle phobia. But then we also were able to witness people rejoicing in getting the vaccine and being able to be reunited with their family and participating fully in the community again.
It brought Archbold and Thomasville back to something that was this important to me. I'm from Thomasville. It really inspired me to make sure that we're giving back to our community.
We thought we were finally starting to, have an idea of how to, fight the virus. We started having new medications available. The vaccine had come out, 6 months prior, and all of us were very excited about that and starting to really think that we were going to get past this pandemic. And then Delta hit.
This variant of the virus affects children from 2 years of age up, and there's no sparing of anybody.
I was just coughing and just kind of having a little bit of difficulty breathing, and just over the course of a week, it just got progressively worse.
We began seeing a lot of people in their 30s and 40s coming in that you would assume would be able to pull out of it, but unfortunately were not, and that really hit hard.
I woke up from being on the ventilator, and 2 rooms down from me was one of my childhood best friends. We actually grew up 2 houses down from each other when we were kids, and seeing him in that condition and knowing that that's where I'd come from, that's when it really hit home for me.
Of course, you tried to stay upbeat, but it was tough on our staff. It wore them down emotionally, and it was very difficult for them to watch and be a part of.
It was overwhelming for us because we came from a unit that lost a coworker to COVID fairly in the beginning when COVID first picked up. So we were having to learn how to mourn her as well as nurse like nothing was happening or wrong. So that was a lot, and it's still a lot to deal with and think about, but we push on, move through.
And they said they do it all over again. But I think number one is they're committed. They're in the profession for the right reason. But then they also know that we work for a great organization that took care of us.
Life is short. You can be here one minute and you can be gone the next.
These are patients that would not have lived had we not figured out a way to move forward and figure out how to overcome the obstacles that we were faced, because it wasn't just Grady General or Archbold faced with it, it was everybody being faced with it. So working as a group to figure things out.
Everybody pulled together to take care of these patients, so that was huge.
I couldn't ask for better staff. I mean, everyone that I come in contact with here just showed the utmost compassion for me and what I was dealing with.
I think I learned through the pandemic that there's no other place I'd rather work than Archbold. The support, the camaraderie, just the family atmosphere. There was never a time that you couldn't pick up the phone and call somebody.
Our administration did a very good job about rounding, and I think our staff, seeing our CEO and our CNO out and about, asking them how they were doing, what is it that you need, and being able to provide that for them was huge. They didn't just sit in their office kind of hidden away because they were scared they were going to get COVID. They walked around to talk to our staff, asking them questions and taking feedback and responding to that feedback was very helpful.
Cancer marches on. Peripheral vascular disease marches on. Cardiac disease marches on. It really doesn't care about a pandemic. And those are real needs that have to be dealt with. You can't just put off cancer. So I think it has been very important that we don't stop those services even though we're struggling through a pandemic.
The pandemic definitely revealed many things, but it also revealed the necessity for a facility like Archbold to be able to provide all the services possible for the community that it serves.
It's extremely important for us to keep moving forward because we still, regardless of the pandemic, our community still has needs that need to be met. And as we have an aging population and we have fewer resources available for them or long-term care beds in our area to provide for them, this is going to open up 75 beds that we didn't have before to be able to give them to come and receive quality care.
The hospice inpatient unit is intended for hospice patients to come to a place that is home-like, someplace that's peaceful. They can have their pain and symptoms controlled. Family can come and visit with them, stay with them.
The pandemic was not known at the time that the expansion plans were made and committed to. Fortunately, we were able to continue the expansion project, actually enter the expansion project at the time of the pandemic, which is, I think, a statement of the commitment that Archbold has to the future of this community and healthcare. But the whole point of this is to offer faster, more efficient, and increased lines of care for the community.
A project like this for our community, it's continued emphasis of striving to be the best, striving for excellence. It's a commitment from one, obviously the community, from providing support for a facility like Archbold. It's also a commitment from administration showing commitment and vision of what currently exists, but also what is to come, okay? And a commitment from the providers as far as serving the community. Anything that we can do to continue to advance the programs and systems here within the Archbold network, the better it will be for the entire region we serve.
The past 2 years has been incredibly challenging. We can all be proud of the team at Archbold for the way they came together to support each other and this community during the pandemic.